My name is Amos Goldberg. I'm an Israeli professor of Holocaust studies. For nearly 30 years, I have researched and taught the Holocaust, genocide, and state violence. And I want to tell whoever is willing to listen that what's happening now in Gaza is a genocide. A year ago, when October 7th happened, like all Israelis, I was in shock. It was a war crime and crime against humanity. 1,200 people, more than 800 of them civilians, were killed in one day. Children and the elderly were among those taken hostages. Communities were destroyed. It was outrageous, traumatizing, personal. Like most Israelis, I know people who were killed, who lost loved ones, or whose loved ones were taken hostage. But immediately afterwards came Israel's response, and within weeks, thousands of civilians were killed in Gaza. It took me some time to digest what was unfolding before my eyes. It was agonizing to confront that reality. I was reluctant to call it a genocide. But if you read Raphael Lemkin, the Jewish-Polish legal scholar who coined the term genocide and was the major driving force behind the 1948 United Nations Genocide Convention, what is happening in Gaza now is exactly what he had in mind when he spoke about genocide. It does not need to look like the Holocaust to be a genocide. Each genocide looks different, and not all involve killing of millions or the entire group. The United Nations Genocide Convention explicitly asserts that genocide is the act of deliberately destroying a group in whole or in part. Those are the words. But there does need to be a clear intent, and indeed, there are clear indications of intent to destroy Gaza. Israel's leaders, including the Prime Minister and the Minister of Defense, and many high-ranking military officers, media personalities, rabbis, as well as ordinary soldiers, were very open about what they wanted to achieve. There were countless documented incitements to turn the whole of Gaza into rubble and claims that there are no innocent people living there. A radical atmosphere of dehumanization of the Palestinians prevails at the Israeli society to an extent that I can't remember in my 58 years of living here. Now, that vision has been enacted. Tens of thousands of innocent children, women, and men have been killed. Over 100,000 were wounded. There's a near total destruction of infrastructure, intentional starvation, and blocking of humanitarian aid. There are mass graves and reliable testimony of summary executions. Children that were shot by snipers. All the universities and almost all hospitals are gone. Almost all the population is displaced. There have been numerous bombing of civilians in so-called safe zones. Gaza does not exist anymore. It is completely destroyed. Thus, the outcome fits perfectly with the stated intentions of Israel's leadership. Lemkin, that scholar who coined the term genocide, described two phases of a genocide. The first is the destruction of the annihilated group, and the second is what he called imposition of the national pattern of the perpetrator. We are now witnessing the second phase as Israel prepares ethnically cleansed areas for Israeli settlements. And therefore, I have come to the conclusion that this is exactly what a genocide looks like. We don't teach about genocides in order to realize it retrospectively. We teach about it in order to prevent it and to stop it. But like in every other case of genocide in history, right now we have mass denial, both here in Israel and around the world. But reality cannot be denied. So yes, it is a genocide. And once you come to this conclusion, you cannot remain silent.